And for more on the popularity of this model, I'm joined by Eric Schiffer. He is the CEO of Patriarch Equity. Eric, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Eric, China has been leading in the online to offline space. According to HSBC, the Chinese auto market is more than $150 billion in size. Why is it so big in China?
Well, I think it's interesting, Michelle. There are many reasons. I think one of the biggest ones is the fact that the Chinese are very frugal as a culture in a very smart way. And so I think many of these apps and many of these businesses give tremendous discounts. In fact, many of them are losing a lot of money because they're giving so many discounts. And in fact, some of their valuations are being hit because of it. And that's a problem for many of these companies in this huge space for China.
Yeah, we'll get to the valuation story there, but you're right. The discounts are very aggressive, a lot of competition. Yet e-commerce giant Alibaba has made a number of big bets on the space, even paying $4.6 billion for a tie-up with a brick-and-mortar electronics chain, Suning. What's Alibaba's strategy then?
Well, I think when you think about Alibaba, they have, in my opinion, looked at it from in a very smart way. They're considering the fact that in a lot of situations, especially in the United States, many of these companies that have tried this have gone belly up. In fact, they were called unicorns, which are these billion-dollar valuation companies, and many of them have completely gone under. And so they look at it and say, maybe we shouldn't be discounting. Maybe we shouldn't give so much back to the consumer. And because it really doesn't add much in terms of loyalty. And so they've reconsidered the model. They're now beginning to move away from that and move it more on the user experience, less on the discount side, which is a smart move. Now, Tencent and Baidu, they're not doing that. They're continuing to move forward with heavy discounts. And look, some of those businesses are going to have challenges, but the space is tremendous for China.
Well, Eric, how much of this with regards to Alibaba is a big play for Alipay? I mean, mobile payments, surely they're going to get a big boost from this O2O market.
Yeah, no question. I think certainly it's still a challenge for some, but no question about it. This is the way you transact business. And Alipay is a big player in this. There are many other ones. Certainly Apple's trying to move in. I think that's going to only get better. You're only going to see more of these types of services being used, which helps them, obviously, and obviously makes the whole consumer experience that much easier for people to participate.
Well, Eric, in order to get people into the stores or to buy the services, as you mentioned, there has to be very aggressive discounting. Many of these apps offer 60 to 80% off everything from rides to food, and players compete on price to try and gain customer base. This has produced a new economy. Many are saying that it's produced an economic disequilibrium. What do you think?
Well, I don't know about disequilibrium. I think what you have is you've got some businesses that unquestionably are financing the growth of their own business through basically giving away a lot of different things. But what's great about all of this, and I think what the Chinese government recognizes, and really the smart picture in all of this, is the fact that this opens up so much opportunity for many different small entrepreneurs to be able to participate on a per day basis, a per hour basis. So the growth that we're going to see in this industry, which is probably going to be close to 30 to 40% per year, it likely will be $1 trillion industry, is so many more jobs for people that can participate and get into the workforce. And I think that's one of the things that will be the biggest benefit for China over the next 5 to 6 years.
Eric, certainly creating more jobs and more opportunities, and certainly a lot of room to grow in the space, as you just said. But many of these auto businesses aren't even breaking even. In fact, they're losing money. Now, from a venture capital perspective, you talked about the unicorns. There are about 21 unicorns in China, private startups with a valuation of over $1 billion in the auto space. From a venture capital, private equity perspective, is there a bubble in the space?
I think with some companies, yeah, I think you're going to see some of these go under. You're going to hear what we would call the slaughter of the unicorns from afar. But some are going to make a fortune. And so it's really about picking the right companies. When you look in the United States, which is a great model for this, you'll see companies like Groupon that grew like crazy. They went way up and then they crashed down. They're now trying to find their footing. So for investors, you really want to look at what is the long-term business model? How realistic is it in terms of competitors? What is their competitive moat? What's the funding behind the organization? And be careful about the bets you make. But the right bet can do tremendous because of the opportunities for growth in this industry. It's phenomenal, okay? And so I think that it'll be like anything else. You need to be smart about picking the winners. Some will do really well, but I do think some are going to crash like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely right. Slaughter of some unicorns. Thanks so much, Eric Schiffer, CEO of Patriarch Equity.